Before we start, please comment what game you want next, and I would greatly appreciate it if you would like the video. Charizard is the best starter for Pokemon Light Platinum. Honestly, when looking at all the starter Pokemon, they all had less than favorable matchups. Blastoise was the worst, and Charizard barely edged out Venusaur for the best starter. Charizard is pretty good in the early game, has a nice immunity versus the ground type gym, and is very good versus the ice type gym. When going into the Elite Four, you can maybe defeat the ground type Elite Four, and besides Empoleon, you should have no issue defeating the steel type Elite Four. At this moment writing, I realize there's a completely different second league in this game, and let's talk about it. And in this one, Charizard is amazing. It can take care of at least one matchup in every single gym. You can also defeat Ash's Pikachu in the World Championship at the end of the game, and maybe if you get lucky, you'll be able to defeat Steven's team. For moves, I gave it Flamethrower, Air Slash, Earthquake, and Dragon Pulse. Next is Nidoking. Nidoking is on here because of its crazy amount of coverage moves. While it won't be providing you much in the early game, this Pokemon is going to get the ball rolling once it gets Volt Beam coverage or Electric and Ice coverage. Combo this with amazing Ground Stab, and you have your go-to for every gym leader in the second half of the game. Nidoking's typing isn't terrible, but you are weak to ground. Fortunately, Charizard is immune to ground types, so we have a good switch in. Charizard is super weak to rock types, but Nidoking has great resistances. Nidoking makes this team because it hits hard and synergizes well with Charizard. For moves, I gave it Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Earth Power, and Brick Break. Next is Kingdra. At this point, I needed a Pokemon with few weaknesses and a Pokemon that will be very good in the early game. That is why I went with Kingdra. Kingdra is only weak to the Dragon typing, and if you get it by the Water Gym, you automatically have a good matchup versus that type. You go even with the Ghost type gym leader, and you can put up a great fight against the other gym leaders. This Pokemon should be your switch in into most bad type advantages, and should be a nice Pokemon to clean up or take care of the one or two Pokemon that your good type advantage Pokemon can't take care of in the gym leaders. Even better, this Pokemon has a great matchup going into the second part of the game. The only Pokemon that you don't want to face is the Salamence that belongs to the Flying type gym leader. If you are faster than a Dragon type, this Pokemon will do great, and if it isn't, then you might want to hope you can take a hit or switch out. This Pokemon will also shine in the final matchup against Ash because it is only weak to Dragon, and Ash has no Pokemon with Stab Dragon type moves. Also, this Pokemon is amazing versus a champion. For moves, I gave it Dragon Pulse, Surf, Smokescreen, and Toxic. Staraptor returns for the best team for Pokemon Light Platinum. Honestly, this Pokemon performs better than it did in Pokemon Gaia. The Brave Bird and Close Combat combo handle so many Pokemon and teams in this game. Also, a base 100 speed tier is excellent in this game. You are speed tying, if not outspeeding, most of the Pokemon you're going up against. This Pokemon is a star in the late game. The only true bad matchup this Pokemon has in the entirety of the game is the Electric type gym leader in the first half of the game. You don't have to worry about rock types because of close combat, and you don't even need to use close combat in some cases because of Kingdra and Nidoking. This Pokemon is just a hard physical attacker that is going to stop everything in its way. Also, Staraptor gives us an answer to the numerous Dark type Elite Four members in this game. This Pokemon can also learn U-Turn, which is crucial to stopping several Psychic types that Nidoking won't be able to handle. For moves, I gave it Brave Bird, Close Combat, U-Turn, and Quick Attack. For this last part, I am recommending 3 Pokemon, but you can only choose 2. Lucario is first. The Steel fighting type is very good in this game. While Staraptor does have close combat, Lucario has stab and provides way more to this team than just fighting moves. This Pokemon can deal with any dark or ghost type that will trouble this team throughout the game. Lucario also has a decent speed tier. Like a lot of Pokemon on this team, Lucario performs really well in the late game. With Shadow Ball, it can easily defeat the Psychic and Steel gyms, and if you give it rock coverage, it could even take on the Fire type gym. This is not recommended though. The reason why I would not fully recommend this Pokemon is because of its lackluster speed. Lucario has base 80 speed, which is not that good in this game. It is below 100. This means it will not deal with pseudo legendaries, which are present in numerous important battles throughout this game. Overall, Lucario is not a bad choice, but if you decide to go Lucario, it will have a very small niche role. For moves, I gave it Dark Pulse, Shadow Ball, Aura Sphere, and Stone Edge. Froslass is here because it gets Ice type coverage. Furthermore, it is Stab Ice type coverage, which means you will pretty much be guaranteed to take out a lot of the pseudo legendaries that are 4 times weak to Ice type moves. This Pokemon also has Stab Ghost type moves, which means it can knock out any Ghost or Psychic type that stands in this team's way. While I was considering Gengar for this role, Stab Ice moves are really difficult to pass up. Froslass also has a very big trick up its sleeve that will help you in the later game. This is Destiny Bond. Destiny Bond is so important for the big 6v6 battle that will take place later in the game. If Froslass is about to die, then you can use Destiny Bond and get an easy 2-for-1 or even better. This Pokemon is like Lucario. It can be used sparingly, but when you have an opportunity to use it, Froslass will be incredibly effective. For moves, I gave it Blizzard, Destiny Bond, Hail, and Shadow Ball. Garchomp is up, and this last Pokemon is highly recommended for this team. Out of all 3 Pokemon that I've mentioned, Garchomp is by far the best. Well, yes, we are doubling up on Dragon types. If you go with Garchomp, it will be well worth it. Garchomp is one of the fastest pseudo legendaries. With a base 102 speed, it will outspeed Salamence, Dragonite, and a bunch of other strong pseudo legendaries. Ground Dragon is just an amazing typing. If you include Garchomp on this team, it can free up a lot of move slots on the other members of this team. Charizard no longer needs Dragon coverage, and if you really want to, you could drop ground coverage on Nidoking. Garchomp also learns Crunch, so it could easily defeat any Psychic or Ghost types. Garchomp has an insane attack stat, so it can muscle through any matchup. If you need a pseudo legendary for this game, Garchomp is without a doubt the best. You have to be patient, but when it evolves, it will be completely worth it. This Pokemon will dominate the late game, and it would take too long to list how many good matchups it has throughout this game. For moves, I gave it Dragon Claw, Crunch, Dig, and Stealth Rocks. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I will stop wasting your time with this video and just get straight to the point. If you want to see more, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and comment something, anything. Besides that, watch some more videos, but above all else, have a good day.